Everyone, myself Shayan Banerjee and I'm again back with my economics classes. So today we are going to be continuing with that particular class 9 Palampur chapter, section number 1. What I was continuing from the first day onwards, class 9, it is a continuation part of the same chapter. I guess the last day we had went through land and how is land related with Palampur. How is a particular factor of production land, the first factor of production related with Palampur is what we read in the last day. Today's video starts with the part of the land. Today's video starts with Green Revolution. A revolution that occurred in that piece of land in our country. Basically, as the name suggests, Green Revolution. That means there was some revolutionary activities done on the greenery, on the crop production of our country. I guess you all know, India was an agrarian country, is an agrarian country and will always be an agrarian country. We are having diversified climatic factors, we are having diversified soil structures throughout our country. And as India is incredibly distributed with variety of crop production and variety of agricultural land, we are best and efficient in this particular crop year. Now, it was just after independence, when the white settlers had completely extracted most of our valuable resources and somehow forced the people or the farmers of our country to start up the indigo cultivation. Somehow the quality of the land went down. After the Planning Commission had started the plan in the year 1950, basically the first 5-year plan started with 1951. Our Deedan government and the policymakers started focusing on providing special emphasis on agricultural upliftment. During that particular time period, we are thinking and we are understanding about one individual, Norman Borlaug, who was considered as the founder father of this green revolution, basically the father of high-yielding variety of seeds. High-yielding variety of seeds or HYV seeds was very famous in the different type of laboratories there in developed countries. Britain and all such developed countries had already started developing these highly technified, well-developed seeds that was there in their laboratory. Now these particular seeds was something different from that of the traditional seeds. Thus, in the late 1960s, basically in the year 1966 to 67, during this time period, during this time era, our Deedan government, that is our late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, had undertaken some initiative to take those high-yielding variety of seeds from the developed nations and with the help of M.S. Swaminathan, who was considered as a founder father of Indian Green Revolution, have undertaken some measure to change some greens, to change some agricultural upliftment. So this was nothing but an agricultural reform. This was nothing but a cultivational reform that was undertaken by late Prime Minister Indira Gandhi in the year 1966, basically in late 1960s. Now, we have read two things. Who have introduced the term Green Revolution? Norman Borlaug. Green Revolution was only not what happened in our country. There are many such developed and underdeveloping countries that have undertaken this agricultural upliftment with a high-yielding variety of seeds. In India, the founder father of Green Revolution was M.S. Swaminathan. We have understood the year late 1960s, the time period 1960s onwards. This time period was considered as the time period when Green Revolution was undertaken. Our next question is, Green Revolution was undertaken in which area of our country? Is it distributed or was it distributed throughout the nation equally? No. This high-yielding variety of seeds was much more expensive seeds. They were something that should be grown up with some technical measurements. They were something that were not affordable by everyone. Thus, this high-yielding variety of seeds was distributed in the states of Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh and even few parts of West Bengal, basically in Malda district. Right? There was Burdwan district that was also been distributed with this HYV variety of seeds. Now this high yielding variety of seeds was some specially nourished seeds. It was like a special care that you provide to your children. It was some special nurture that you need to do than the traditional seeds. The primitive traditional seeds that was very famous in our Indian agriculture system was something that could give us a yield at a very small amount. But this high yielding variety of seeds, the HYV seeds, the high yielding variety of seeds was actually those seeds that required special amount of sunlight, special amount of irrigational water supply, special amount of fertilizers, and they are much more prone to pest. That's why a proper utilization of pesticides and insecticides are much more required in this type of high yielding variety of seeds. Then only it will promise you to give more and more yield. It would give you twice or thrice the amount of yield that you would have been getting from some traditional seeds. Thus, as this promises was given by this high yielding variety of seeds, the states of Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh were having some farmers, those who were rich enough to afford this type of cultivation. That's why those seeds was distributed to these particular specific areas. As because you all know, in our country, 70% of the people were directly or indirectly dealing with agriculture. But all were not having the affordability. Still now, agriculture has been in a primitive sense than the other sectors of our country. So likewise, our country's farmers or agriculturists started this particular revolution. They undertook the high yielding variety of seeds, they have undertaken this cultivation, and after a few months, we got a drastic miracle. The miracle that happened was, we got a huge yield. Our productivity went a lot, and India got several advantages due to this green revolution. So we are going to sort out some advantages of green revolution. The three specific advantages that you have also always need to keep in your hard disk is, the first, our entire country's productivity went very high. Our country became a surplus producer of rice and wheat. Sorry, one thing I forgot to tell you was, green revolution was undertaken with a high yielding variety of wheat seeds. After 1 year, again in the year 1967 and 68, high yielding variety of rice seeds was undertaken. So wheat and rice was producing a lot in our country. We were at that time a surplus producer of wheat and rice. Right? The first advantage. The second advantage was, see, India became a self-sufficient country. What do you understand by self-sufficiency? I guess you all know better than me. In the tiffin period, you all are not at all self-sufficient. You do not bring a tiffin in your school. Right? I'm very clear on that. I was also doing the same in my childhood days. So you are much more dependent on your friend's tiffin. That means you are self-sufficient? No, not at all. You are much more dependent on others. India was also doing the same. Previously, prior to this green revolution, India was much more dependent on the other countries, on the imports of other countries. You will be astonished by hearing that India was an importer of food grains previously. But after this green revolution, India became a surplus producer of wheat and rice. And that's why India was self-sufficient in their own productivity. Now India can feed the tummy of every people and make the entire system or the entire country a welfare country. And that's why India now, as it is having enormous amount of surplus food grain, was now able to sell their surplus output in abroad. That's why India got or became a great exporter of wheat and rice throughout the world. India has now become self-sufficient. It became an exporter of this wheat and rice. And the last one, India produces surplus amount of food grains. These three advantages are very, very important to be learned and to be kept in your hard disk. Next, everything, every each revolution, every each reform has got its advantages as well as some disadvantages. Some pros as well as some cons. So there are some cons also, there are some disadvantages also. The disadvantages of this green revolution was, it can be listed or they are being listed very few according to your syllabus. But it's a homework to all my students here in class 9 to find it out, to Google it or to get information from your book even, from anywhere, and do write in my comment section some of the disadvantages what I am not discussing in my video. So there are many advantages. Out of those advantages, the first advantage was, look, it reduces the soil fertility. As I told, this green revolution was having an excessive use of fertilizers and pesticides. If you continuously use the fertilizers and pesticides in your field, its productivity and fertility would go down day by day. People will be having numerous number of diseases. Now you are seeing often a time your parents used to tell, during our days we used to eat everything fresh. But hardly you can get any of the vegetables or any of the veggies fresh from the market. Each vegetables are filled with varieties of fertilizers as well as pesticides. Different chemical components are very commonly found in every vegetables. It is actually having a negative harm for our human health. So not only the human health, to all those animals, those who are actually being fed with all the fodders of this agricultural waste out, they are also getting different type of health hazards due to these excessive use of chemical fertilizers. So green revolution was having a first disadvantage, it reduced the soil fertility and simultaneously was having some negative impacts on the human health or the health of those consumers. The third disadvantage was, there was soil pollution. It's also very common. If you think about the pollution chapter, you will find air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution, several types of pollution are there. If you use fertilizers and pesticides, it will have soil pollution. It will actually create soil pollution. And even at the same time, indirectly, if there is a heavy downpour in the rainy season, those rainwater will wash away all the fertilizers, all those chemicals, and will be draining there to the nearby ponds or river bodies, and ultimately will create water pollution as well. So pollution was also a negative impact of this green revolution. It was not only extended up to this, it was further extended. There are several different negative impacts. Another was, it reduced the water table. How? During that time, green revolution was that revolution, or high yielding variety of seeds was some specific type of seeds that required huge amount of irrigational water. And as huge amount of irrigational water was undertaken, that's why it required plentiful amount of water. There was tubewell irrigation that became very common in Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. So tubewell irrigation was there and it extracted plentiful amount of groundwater. When excessive amount of groundwater was undertaken or was uplifted, maximum amount of water table went down. The areas became semi-arid zone that actually was having a problem and is actually consistently persisting problem throughout this modern days even. It's not only extended up to this, there are many other. Another one was income inequality. As I told earlier, high yielding variety of seeds was distributed not only to every state but some specific states, to some specific farmers with their affordability. So Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh were those particular farmers or those particular areas where farmers were having affordability. They were the rich farmers in comparison to the other farmers in our entire country. That's why those farmers got their upliftment. So few segment of the entire farmer communities got the benefit out of this green revolution. The other poor farmers, same condition remained after green revolution also. So they didn't get any upliftment, they didn't get any betterment. Only few handful number of farmers, those who were rich with affordability, got the benefit of green revolution. The next demerit of green revolution was income inequality. It was quite similar to that of the other, right? The previous one. If the rich farmers will get the benefit and the poor farmers will have the same condition, then the rich will always become richer and the gap between rich and poor will be widening up. So the rich became richer and poor became poorer, and there was an income inequality among the farmers throughout our country. The last demerit, according to what I have written here, as I didn't get much more space to write everything, there was regional disparity. Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh were only benefited due to green revolution. What about the other states? Their condition remained unchanged. Their condition remains constant or same. Other genres or other states of our entire country was not benefited. There was no advantages of green revolution on those areas. But yes, as a whole, the country got a surplus food grain production. There are many continuation parts of these disadvantages. I request all of you, all my YouTube viewers and all my students there, those who are watching me there in YouTube, to please do write few of the disadvantages in my comment section. So our entire discussion gets over. We will be continuing with our next factor, labor, in my next video. Till then, stay connected, stay happy, keep a smile with you. Thank you. Bye-bye. Hope you subscribe my video. If you like my video, please don't forget to share and give your thumbs up. Thank you. Have a very nice day.